Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hindsight Podcast. I actually missed everybody because I wasn't here last week. And shout out to Babajide for holding it down, even though he couldn't quite get through his intro without spitting a wine. But that's all good because we're about to get a Glenfiddich. That's what it's called, right? I saw a tweet by Jide. He had a Glenfiddich by a brand and whatnot. So when you start hosting big events, for major alcoholic brands, you get such gifts. Hope it's like Glenfiddich for 25 years because that's what I think.
I think it's 18.
18 years, yeah?
I think
it's not bad at all, right? It's good to have you on the show because we have been postponing your debut for 2 weeks now, right? Shay, Baolola. 2 years. We're not that bad.
It's my pleasure.
Great to have you here.
It's my pleasure.
I like people that wear fleece shirt. I don't know if you know that's what it's called.
I don't know what I'm wearing.
No, you fit no saying a long sleeve, right? But actually, I love the fleece. It's kind of similar to what FX wore couple episodes ago. But it's great to have you here, and I hope you enjoy it because a lot of people that come on the sets are always. I want to say starstruck of Lakule, but well, that's not the case. But good to have you here, and we'll hear from you in a bit. It's good to have you back.
Yeah,
because you have been
a minute.
You have changed from being a consuming professional to, you're moving funny. Is that down to the fuel
Throwing me
scarcity?
under the bus. I see what you're doing, man. But
We've been on
let
for
me
2
take
weeks.
the bus back.
2 weeks, no?
Yeah, having you here, but it wasn't deliberate. It was the hustle of Lagos, and anyone who lives in this city knows how incredibly volatile this place can be.
Now, Kogi this day.
But good to be back. Good to be back. And it's always nice because we tend to have a show before the show, and that show before the show is always up here.
I think Shay is the best person to. I think Shay and I. When we say that everything that happens on the podcast, all the banter that happens here. Is strictly organic. A lot of people don't believe that because I get people message me and say, "Oh, do you guys rehearse everything?" I'm like, no. I'm sure he's now realized that it's such a.
I'm sure our producer can even be. I was waiting for a script. I was like, guy, Alpha, he never give me. But I'm sure I can wing it.
So I tell you what, for free, right? There is usually a guide. For some reason today, I messaged you guys on the WhatsApp group and I said, look, we're going to talk about a couple of things. One of the things we want to talk about today is, what it means for a player to be decisive. And the guys would give more insights on that. But it's good to have you back on the show. You missed last week, no?
No, I was here last week.
But you missed the previous week.
2 weeks ago, yeah.
Right. I saw good professional. I saw a tweet. Timmy Dakolo said, say service apartment, don't talk, say make everybody buy their gem.
If you didn't come, hold on for motor.
Buy your gem.
Down for back.
Do you know what it means? Do you know how much people make off service charge?
Yeah.
For a service apartment to say, look,
We no do again.
We don't do again.
Guy.
Look,
Incredible.
you don't choke with that. It's really crazy because I know a friend, and you might know her as well. She's a doctor. 3 weeks ago, she bought a diesel gen. She was like, I don't think do this thing. She bought diesel gen. I'm like, this is nano gen right now. And she's like, she called me like, wait, like how? But that's what it is. It's such a crazy, crazy time. And we could not start the podcast without saying that as they choke everybody, they choke us too. So we totally understand. We totally understand that. And one thing I saw is people trying to make people feel bad for not wanting to buy something at a price that is ridiculous. You go on Twitter, you go on social media, people try to tell you or try to make you feel like you're broke for not buying something at an incredibly unfair price. So for example, I see people buying, so people say, I bought fuel for 500 naira per liter.
Sorry, good for you.
I'm like,
may the Lord.
if I have a choice, I'm not going to do that.
No, but of course now.
Like,
no chance.
But if people try to make you feel like maybe you're not hustling enough or you're not.
No,
It's a wrong culture.
Yeah,
to be honest.
it's a Nigerian thing. It's cultural. It's like, I think it's as deep as this thing that we have about the person. We only respect people with money.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Sir.
So exactly.
Sure,
so you can walk into a mall now. Everybody's looking at you like, who is this idiot? And then if you come back, just walk back out, go and carry your car from somewhere and drive to the front of the mall. Everybody's, hey, yes sir. Welcome sir. Hey, what do you need? You get. So it's like people are now really ashamed to even say they don't have money. They can't pay a certain amount for something because it feels like they will now think that I don't have money. Oh no.
No be me, no
I'm
vex.
telling you.
Tell you
Someone
clearly.
said, I saw it somewhere, Say repeating your clothes means that you're the owner. Yeah.
You're the owner. Are we communicating?
I know Boram.
Are we communicating?
No, and you know, for example, if you go to a restaurant now, naturally you have like an idea, even if you are not sure how much exactly they are selling stuff, but you have an idea. You can't be more than this. Like that way, I can walk in there and say, okay, give me this, without asking the price. But if I go
Don't
to
go
a
to that
restaurant,
one and let you Gabio.
don't worry. Don't
Don't go that one, no.
But if I walk into anywhere that I am not sure, I don't have an idea what the price is. Before, how much is this thing?
Yeah.
Simple.
How much is this thing? No.
Honestly, spot on.
Yes,
because
sir.
I go to supermarkets and the one that kills me the most is attendants trying to make you feel like, you know, okay, if you don't get the money, drop the thing.
No, I will insult you.
No.
That one is standard. You will hear. Once I get the body language, you are trying to. I will insult you straight.
You will
There's
hear,
no.
you will hear your family's history,
Yes,
first
now.
of all.
No, standard.
But more importantly, what I do all the time is I go to supermarket and I say, I like to go to supermarkets that can print receipts for me.
Yeah.
Right?
So
with the pricing.
now.
So I can compare
I
and say.
I don't get money like that.
because,
I go check what I
You know,
buy.
I follow a page called Nairametrics. You know, shout out to Nairametrics. I know some of the guys that run the place. And they posted a news that inflation figures now, I think at 15%, something like that. And what I like to do in supermarkets, going back to that, is when I buy stuff, I like to see what the prices are.
Yeah.
And I don't. I mean, when it gets too much, you toss them away, you throw them away. But sometimes I just keep a couple. And I say, oh, I bought sausages for 600 naira. The last time I bought sausages was 700 naira. So, and I can tell, oh, this thing has jumped in price. So if I send somebody to the supermarket and they come back with lesser items than I expect them to come back with, I know that the price is not lying.
Yeah, I have to go there.
So they try to make you feel like, you ask them for a receipt,
have to go there.
they'll be like, okay, we don't get receipt. I'm like, are you?
One of our senior Oloye, Honorable Aki. One of his posts on Instagram, I saw him pointing at what he wanted from the Amala pot. I say,
about your life.
hey, that is a billionaire. From that moment, every time I go to eat Amala, I put inside the pot. The other time, last week, we went to, the lady was carrying goat meat. Carried one goat, there's plenty store. I said, no, I don't want that one. Give me this one. He said, no, everything has bone. I said, I don't care.
This one is the
Give
one I
me
want.
the one, he has bone, but he has that. No. If I sense anything like you want to do, I will insult you straight.
Being deliberate about the things you want has to go down to everything. It's funny how Nigerians suddenly, when you get to the counter for like, you go to like maybe the place or something like that, and you are deliberate about this meats, round, how Pomo covers and covers. Times 2, raised to power 2. I don't see how open. I don't want that one. I don't want that one.
You know the one that annoys me. You buy something, you give someone money. The change is 200 naira.
Oh.
If I walk into your shop and buy something and say I don't have 200 naira to give you, will you allow me to go?
Of course you
will
won't.
not. I buy something you don't have 200 naira. Instead of you to say, please sir, I need to check.
Let me get change.
Let me get
you
change.
just keep straight
He
face.
says,
Like say I don't
"Sir,
get change.
We don't get change, you."
So
and because you think there's a fine girl standing behind me, I'm going to compose. I go shout. Give
my
me
change.
my money.
I will scream.
Are you kidding me?
What's God nonsense?
I go
This
shout.
country.
I don't get.
No.
It's
It's
I
like
don't-
200. Very useful.
Very useful to me.
Onions can be bought,
The day of tire gets flat in Lekki, you gonna say that's one idea important.
Yep, actually,
No, for real. Right. I traveled to the east in December and I popped my tire for 15 naira. My mind no agree make I give the guy 15 naira. Right? I was like, cause to pop your tire in Lekki on Island is 200 naira. And it's like he get as he go be safe, the guy go ask for 300 naira. Get as he go drive SUV. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just say, Baba, your money is 500 naira. I'm like, no, this car is not my own.
I just go service out.
I don't know service guy coming back, right? But look, shouts to everyone because we are actually doing we're doing the most. I said Nigeria makes you, it negates all your fail safes. You know, there's no light in Nigeria, so you buy an inverter. They stop giving light entirely. Okay, buy fuel to charge your inverter in your gens. They stop giving you fuel. So every fail safe you make to try and cushion the effects, the country kind of finds a way to negate it. But on the show today, welcome along to it. We are totally always delighted to have you here because it's a pleasure. I found a friend of mine, Khadija Rahman. She asked me to save a spot for her to host the podcast. So how about you tell us, go to Khadija's page and, ask her a couple of football questions. If she answers 5 of them correctly, she can come host the podcast. Rufai knows Khadija Rahman, one of the best in the business as well. She's not just a sports person, but she just thought, you know what, works on radio, and she thinks I want to host your podcast, and that would be cool, right?
Yep,
to have a lady.
I'm tired of seeing.
There's too much testosterone.
Too much of that.
You're
Right.
tired of me.
So let us know if that works. If you want to see a lady host a podcast,
I'm looking forward.
That would be great. And you can go ahead and suggest.
Now you will substitute.
I gladly do that. What do you want me to mention? Right. We want to have a fan on the big screen, and we are building towards something we hope is a great way to get some feedback from you as well. And because we feel like the comments are not enough anymore. I see your comments. I see 40 comments on the Instagram post, and I'm thinking, how about we just talk real time, right? So we're going to do that to get someone here to speak to us every weekend. That would be great, isn't it? Let's start off with the show, gentlemen. I want to speak about what makes a player decisive. And I was watching the Arsenal game yesterday, and I thought, Master Odegaard, I hate to knock the kid, because is he still a kid? How old is he now?
He's 23.
23,
Like
still
I've been a kid for as long as I've watched him.
It started early, to be fair. Started very early.
Started playing professional football at 15, 16. So
Yeah.
been a while for quite a long time.
And I feel like, the biggest problem I have with Arsenal fans in the world, and I don't, actually, if you dig 4 levels deeper into my soul, I think I have a bit of a nice affection for Arsenal.
Lamba.
To be honest.
For a Man U fan?
I don't hate Arsenal. Matter of fact, some of the better memories I have a lot of Arsenal fans as friends. And sometimes I hate to see them in the kind of trouble
They hate
they're
you,
in.
just so
Right?
you know,
No,
they
no,
hate you.
I know. And the feeling is mutual, right? And the feeling is mutual, right?
People are confessing their sins.
Shouts to JJ Mojuma, because we had a nice back and forth on Twitter. He's an Arsenal fan, big one. Shouts to Balakizide as well. But what happens is, the moment the player starts doing just well for Arsenal, they find a way to compare that player to the player that's been doing it for many years. So in the last couple of weeks, I've seen Odegaard and Ozil in the same tweets. And I'm like,
Travesty.
Madness.
I'm like, let me mute this
Even
person.
as
Let me
Arsenal
mute
fan, I
this person
think that
first.
is
I just take my phone and I block the person
that's
first.
unforgiving.
Like,
No, you
Ozil-
can't. You
I'm
can't.
not a big fan of Arsenal fans.
we know. Let me talk. I know you're a hater. Just
No,
don't. You're a hater.
Well, go
you
ahead.
hate Arsenal. I know.
Me.
Don't-
You're an Arsenal fan.
No, I'm an
Yeah,
Arsenal
he is.
fan.
Oh.
I don't get excited, and I've never been excited. You know,
You do.
no,
You do
I've
get
never
excited.
been excited.
I can bring
In the
instances.
past 3 years,
I think Kanye West will like you.
I've not
because
been
I
excited.
tell you, Kanye West will like you. Because if you've seen the documentary Genius, right? Kanye deliberately says that he doesn't like the word excited. He likes the word energized. Because, I hate to digress. You get back to your point. He says the word excited, you can get excited. Someone can give you a new Mercedes, and it's across the road, and you get excited, and you run across the road, and it can't hit you.
Yeah.
So he likes to say he feels energized. Because when you're excited, you lose control. But when you're energized, you still have a bit of control.
I think I like that.
Yeah.
Have I been energized? Yes. Have I liked what has happened in the past 1 year or so? I think we're making baby steps, and I've said that many times. We're not quite there. I knew that Liverpool were going to beat Arsenal. Did I hope that Arsenal would beat Liverpool? Of course. Did I know they would beat us? I knew they would beat us. After the first half, I said, come on.
We should have gotten a goal in that first half.
Because I said it on our radio show. The difference between City and Liverpool is that Liverpool can go into second gear and third gear. That's the difference between City and Liverpool. I saw City against Crystal Palace on Monday, and I was looking at the bench, and I was thinking, what can they do differently? Crystal Palace were very solid. You can't do anything differently. But At 0-0, Klopp was already preparing Salah and Jota and Firmino on the bench.
First half.
They can go on another level. They can turn it on. They don't play the gang pressing anymore, but they can switch it on. They can, let's go. They have that. And with Arsenal, you just feel that they're not quite there yet. They were not embarrassed. They were not disgraced, and which is what I wanted. Don't go and be outclassed.
Don't be CCs.
Don't be outclassed. And Arsenal were not outclassed. And anyone who understands the game would think, the quality was there. The quality from Liverpool was there. They had more better players, more quality.
Oh, wow.
But in the end, you can't say Odegaard. I'm not a big fan of Odegaard. I like his work rate. I like his ability to, play some nice stuff. But he has his limits. He has his limitations.
You pick Smith Rowe over because my thinking is,
I would have played Smith Rowe over him.
I was
yesterday.
I was making. So what I try to do nowadays is I try to allow the game settle for a bit so I can gather my thoughts, because what happens when you're watching a game real time is you can get excited.
Yeah, of course,
right?
of course.
So next morning I get energized and I think about the Arsenal game, and I thought, Arsenal, they competed.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
But ultimately, when you compete, more often than not, the better team wins.
Yeah.
And you can take pride in the fact that that team goes back knowing that they won that point. They didn't take it. They didn't stroll there and take the point. They won the point. And which is what a lot of people say. I speak to people on a very platonic level, because a lot of times you find people that they feel like they want to have a go at you with football conversations, especially on Twitter. But if we go a step deeper, then they lose it. I said, but when people win games, right, especially in title races, when it comes to the last 5 games, when you go there and win a game, you win all 3 points. It's different when you take that 3 points. Because for the last year at Arsenal, it's been about clubs going down, taking points and going away.
Yeah.
You knew it was this thing. It was a straight win. The way Arsenal played in the first half, I thought, if they scored in the first half, when you are not the better team and you play against a better team, you need to score in your moments of ascendancy.
Absolutely.
Because you know that
And that game could have turned on its head if Odegaard had scored.
Because you know that the better team ultimately will find another gear, which you don't have. And you cannot match them when they find that gear. So going back to it, I said, look, Odegaard, for all I see that he does, good player, nice, nifty touches, deft touches, accurate passes. I don't think he has the right amount of intensity to be decisive in the game.
Ozil was different class.
And when you think about a guy
Paul Merson said, he's the friend of football. Football is his friend.
You see,
when I think about Ozil, Ozil was a guy who made the game look so easy, even for someone who was not physically so strong.
Imposing, yeah. So when you think about players being decisive in football games, which is the theme of this particular conversation, even though we're speaking about Arsenal, is that when you're a decisive player, even as a passer, your qualities don't hide.
Yeah, of course.
Right? So when people talk about players being decisive, people say, oh, he must be a goal scorer. No.
Yeah.
No, of course not.
Fabinho is a decisive player.
Yeah, I was even going to point it out.
Very, very decisive. So, for example, and you speak about it in a bit, Odegaard, for all he does, I don't see him being a decisive player in a football game. Not by his passing, not by his goal scoring. When I think about a guy like Ozil or David Silva, with his ability to unlock a labyrinth in many ways. Right? Is that the word? Labyrinth? Yeah. To unlock a labyrinth. Or to that kind of thing. You can see that his movement, understanding of the game is decisive to what the team does ultimately.
Yeah, sure.
Virgil van Dijk is decisive.
Yeah.
You can see a stop that says, you know what, if he didn't make that stop in the game goes another way. When I watch Odegaard play, and this is not to knock Odegaard, I just think that I'm still yet to see what makes the player decisive. You were going to say?
Yeah, so for me, I don't want to say I'm a big fan of Odegaard, but I quite like him. I like what he's good at. But I can also admit that I feel like Odegaard is very easy to shut out of a game. I remember the North London derby. I was at the Emirates. I think the first 20-30 minutes, Odegaard ran the game. He was unplayable. But the moment
by North London derby, you're talking Tottenham, Arsenal.
No,
Chelsea, Arsenal.
No,
Stoke City PPR.
It was Tottenham at Arsenal's Emirates, yeah. So, but at some point, I think after 20 or 30 minutes, they put Ndombele on him, and I think he had like 5 touches for the rest of the game. It's very easy to snuff him out, and that is where I feel like Fabinho is usually criminally underrated about. I think he can snuff you out of a game very easily.
Can be decisive.
Exactly.
I said, sorry, man. I'm not a big fan of Arsenal fans.
You have to put it out
No,
there.
I have to go back.
The way you want it.
Yeah. The way Arsenal fans internalize the pain of when their club is not doing well. You can easily see it in the same vein when they go in and start praising a particular player that just started,
But
that
isn't
just
that
started
natural?
doing well. It's not.
No.
I'll explain. It's not. If Tammy Abraham was an Arsenal player, they would have compared him to Drogba.
Shambles.
No, it's true.
No,
It's
fact,
true.
though.
Every time a young player comes through at Arsenal and he's doing well, that guy, see, they do like Ozil. How? Waiting you smoke.
Who are these ones that are embarrassing the culture of the club?
Wait till you smoke. We're gonna make you talk about Odegaard.
In the same sentence with Ozil.
It's Ozil, you know, and that's a problem. I think we need to realize that you know, we last week we spoke about generational talents, and I thought Jide would touch on it, but you know, a lot of people came for the guys for saying, oh, this kid is not generational talent, you know, Saka and whatnot. And it's funny because I want to talk about Saka now. You know, when you speak about players that are decisive in a football game or generational talents, when you say Ozil, that's a generational talent. That's a guy you will not see in another 6 years. And let's not forget, football players have a lifespan. If you are very good and you are a generational player, you have a lifespan of 15 years.
15, 16, yeah.
Max.
Normally, not like 10.
10 is too much. If you're a good player, you have, give or take, 6 years or 5 years doing it. If you are now, you know, better than a good player, you're a better player. If you're like Van Persie, despite the injuries, you have 10 years or thereabouts. Flashes of brilliance here and there, but every time you come, you do know that this guy is really good, right? Take for example Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey had at the top as one of the best defenders in Europe, tops 2 years. Do you understand? Let's use a player like Xhaka, for example, right? Xhaka is a good midfielder, but if you cumulatively put his best efforts down, or Arturo Vidal had maybe 2 years at the top as the undisputed king of
CM in the world.
best CM in the world. So those are players that are very good players. So I tell people, when you talk about generational talent, Ozil did what he did for at least 8 to 10 years. You could see what he was doing way back in Germany.
Yeah.
Bremen.
Down to Real Madrid, down to Arsenal, even when he wasn't playing games anymore. You think about a guy like Kevin De Bruyne, for example. Kevin De Bruyne was doing the same exact thing he's doing now back in Germany.
Bremen,
Yeah,
Wolfsburg.
You know,
Damn.
he was doing the same amount of
He
passes.
was actually doing it from Belgium.
From-
Do
from-
it
Yeah.
from Belgium. That's generational
I think he
talent.
even was a winger then.
You know,
Yeah.
so maybe I don't think you were here when we had that conversation about generational talent. So I said about Saka. I said, look, I don't think that Saka is generational talent. But that's even an aside. The problem I find with Saka now is that I was watching the game yesterday and I thought, if Arsenal suddenly find their mojo and in the transfer market and sign a top class right winger, where does Saka fit into the team? Because for a kid who knows how to do everything, he's a fantastic solution for a coach. Or there's a problem we need to tactically approach this game in a different way. Saka is an option. We can play him here. We know that we don't lose too much and he will give something because his football brain is incredible. But I find that to be a problem for even the kid. Because he doesn't have the pace to be the best right winger in the world, like Mo Salah. He has a football brain, but you have to say that at that position, you need a lot of pace to play in that place. To go past people, to change direction.
He's not a slouch.
First of all,
I don't think it's that fast.
How old is Saka?
Saka is 20.
Okay, so I think it's a... Why
It's
I'm
too
not
soon
saying,
to judge him.
I'm not saying he's a generational talent.
Yeah,
I
but
think
it's too soon.
What was
It's too soon
Salah
to
doing at
judge.
20?
Of course. I don't think Salah had the numbers at this level.
You are going to have very rare players like Kylian Mbappe. The last time we saw a Kylian Mbappe, in my opinion, was probably Ronaldo de Lima.
Yeah.
19,
of course.
already a world beater.
Of course.
I don't think you are going to find those kind of players all the time. So for Saka, and I said it on one of the comments I made under the post on Instagram. My biggest credit for Saka is the fact that at that age, usually you're supposed to go through a particular route of gaining experience before you get to a point where you are the clutch player for your team, especially a big team like Arsenal. But at 20, he has gone through different obstacles that normally should take you years of playing the game to go through. He went to the Euros, missed a penalty, racial, was abused, all these things. At Arsenal, if you don't, and that was why I said in the comments, I said that's why I'll pick Saka over Phil Foden, for example. Because as good as Phil Foden is now, or as good as he looks,
he's almost been spoon-fed where he is.
Look, when he came into the City team, it wasn't as a matter of need.
Yeah.
Saka is in the Arsenal team as a matter of need.
I agree.
It was PR.
It was down to, and you're right, it was down to Pep is ruining.
Yes,
in fact, there was a clear agenda that Pep was buying everything.
Yes.
And he wasn't utilizing the academy.
He needed
something
from the English press.
To put him in. But
No, he's good. But also, it is easier to integrate a player into a team like City that is
already
winning.
Yep.
Look, if things starts going wrong at City, Foden is not the first, second, third, fourth, fifth player they will look to rescue them.
Of course.
At Arsenal, Saka is probably the first, second.
Good point.
Yeah.
I think it's a brilliant point. My problem with Saka now is that though I think the kid is an incredible talent.
Yeah.
Right? He does too many things, and I've seen this thing play out before. I've seen it play out with midfielders. They do everything. With Pogba, for example. Pogba is an example of.
Sure, we're still going to talk about Man U, Abi. No. I just want you continue.
No, that's for sure.
Sure, we go. Good. I just want to know. Because I want to go in.
I think that, for example, with Pogba, when you watch Pogba, you mentioned the best midfielders in the world: Modric, Kevin De Bruyne, Marco Verratti. Who else am I missing out?
Jorginho.
Fabinho, Kante.
I think you mentioned Jorginho. I think not as good as his name. I know. There's a reason why I say I think you mentioned Jorginho.
He is kidding. Don't take it seriously.
No. I actually think you mentioned Jorginho.
FIFA agrees with me.
No. I actually think. Very, very quick point why I think you mentioned Jorginho.
Don't do that.
No.
But wait, now.
Very quick point why I think you mentioned Jorginho. See, all these players that you've mentioned, fantastic players. I think I'll pick all of them ahead of Jorginho.
Definitely.
But the thing that Jorginho that he does, I think all the names that you mentioned now, the only person that maybe does it as well or better is Verratti. What Jorginho does as a midfielder, he's kind of midfielder. All these names that you mentioned, I don't think any one of them, do it better.
Yeah, he's
what exactly?
He doesn't do anything other than go pick ball, pass to this thing, pass to that one. That's all he does.
And he does it quite excellently.
God bless you, Sergio Busquets. He doesn't really do.
He does it quite excellently.
He chips in a bit of tackles here and there, win the ball.
And
that's
sends
all.
a couple of back passes that they intercept and score.
Come on,
that happens
Just
everywhere.
once.
Come on. Thiago Alcantara almost gave us a goal yesterday.
Hold on a second.
That doesn't happen. And he's had two assists back to back in 2 games for the first time in his career.
It's my problem. My problem with that is, if we go there,
Like you spent some time on Twitter last night.
if we go there, then John Obi Mikel is the best midfielder.
No. I've always thought
played that style of football.
I've always thought John Obi Mikel was a fantastic midfielder.
I think
I never agreed with John Obi.
If we do that,
Because guess
Mikel
what?
is in the same category as Busquets.
I think so.
I think so.
No,
I think Busquets is the better passer.
Yeah, that's why
Mikel.
you rate him. Yeah, that's why you rate him above
I think he's a better passer.
He's a better passer of the ball.
Mikel is a better ball winner.
Better ball winner.
Pretty much
doesn't
the same.
do it. Yeah. The only difference between Busquets and Mikel is Busquets is a better passer of the ball.
pinpoint passing.
Uses the ball better.
So the only reason we have gotten here is Jorginho. So
Yeah,
let's
so let's
make
go back
a
to
quick detour back to
what you were
the point we're trying to
The-
make.
okay, yeah,
Generational talents.
you were talking about Saka and
No.
No,
Let's-
wait now.
before-
No, wait. You were talking about Saka.
You know my head, ni.
No, wait. You were talking
Wait
about
now.
Saka. And what
I
I
was talking about
hearing.
Pogba.
No, wait. No, we're talking about Pogba. Saka brought the Pogba talk. That Saka tries to do too much. And
Right.
I don't think Saka tries to do too much. Saka is,
That's what the manager says.
I think Saka is hindered by a lack of quality centre forward. And I sat down and I was analysing the game yesterday. I said, if Arsenal had Raul Jimenez in that team yesterday, we would have beaten Liverpool. Do you know why?
Sure.
No. Do you know why? Liverpool were playing high line in defence. And every time Martinelli was isolated with Trent Alexander-Arnold,
That kid. We'll speak about it again.
Lacazette was dropping deep. If we had a striker who was running behind... Sorry, if we had Mikel Antonio in that game yesterday, someone who can sprint past defenders, every time Saka had a one-on-one with Robertson, he had to cut back because he cannot find anyone because Lacazette is dropping deep. So I think that Saka, you would see, Saka is not a dribbler. He's not someone...
He's a
He's not a
straightforward guy.
dribbler. He's
Yeah,
someone who wants
yeah.
to get to the byline, get
Yeah,
balls
that's
into the
right.
area.
And I agree. And you make my point fantastically well. So in a team that has Martin Odegaard, has Emil Smith-Rowe, who I think is I think he's the
Young Emil
I think
Smith-Rowe.
he's the king. I think he's the king in waiting
Yeah.
for.
I remember
for
for
number
4 years
10
ago,
role.
me and Lakule used to talk
You get-
about the kid.
I think the kid is the guy who you would crown the king as number 10 at Arsenal, right? If Arsenal go and sign a player, for example,
Lautaro Martinez.
a player like, for example, that plays the right wing very well, right? And have a left winger that's very good because they have one now, Martinelli. I think that kid is. I don't think I swap that kid
Like
for
his
anybody in the world in his position.
In your club.
No. In his age category, I don't swap
you
that
don't-
kid for anybody.
You don't
Beast.
come back.
No.
His age
Beast.
category.
Yeah.
Mbappe is his age category.
Work rate, desire,
no.
Mbappe is
determined.
on another planet now.
You see, that's the thing.
No, that's not the thing.
Let's go back.
You don't come back to this
Why
right
you
now.
wanna do like that?
Let's
Continue,
come back.
continue on this right now.
Martinelli, I don't swap for anybody not named KM, right?
Okay, I'll
But
look for somebody else.
If Arsenal gets a right winger that's very good, you
Arsenal will not get a right winger. We don't need a right winger. We need a striker.
You don't see Saka
Just a
playing
striker.
in the hole. So I made a point about Paul Pogba, for example. When you mention the best midfielders in the world and you put Paul Pogba beside them, he does everything they do specially as well as they do and does more. But in terms of finding out what he's best at, we've taken 8 years now to find that out, and we're still looking for it.
Okay,
Right.
right. So
And
we'll
we're
talk about Man U later.
And we're still in that search. He turned 29 yesterday.
Wow.
Right? Turned
What's 29?
Yes, sir.
I really thought it was
Turned 29
24.
yesterday. Next year is 30.
Next year
Next year is 30.
I think he's made a lot of money. I think he's made a lot of money, but I think he's wasted his
I think he
career.
made a lot of money.
I don't think he's wasted his career.
I think he's wasted.
he's had a
I think he's
different
wasted. Not career. I think he's wasted his talent.
He made a lot.
I don't think
Fair
so.
enough.
He made a
I
lot
think
of
he's
money.
wasted his talent.
And for black players, I always say that the most important thing is making a lot of money.
Yeah,
Why?
he's made a lot of money.
Right? That's the most important thing. Right? You make a lot of money. You make a lot of money, which Pogba has done. He's built a fantastic PR machine, has a fantastic brand. I think he's the guy that lots of brands will go after when he retires. But can you tell me one midfield player in the last 10 years that pound for pound, skill for skill, is better or metric for metric better than Pogba?
Which comes back to the...
So
based on raw talent.
no, based on raw talent,
Based
passing
on-
the ball, range of passing,
Yeah,
getting past players,
I think
physical
there are lots-
ability.
I don't think
I don't think there are many.
think there are.
Which goes back to Saka. Saka does everything you expect a nice number 10 to do or a nice winger to do. Drops the shoulder very well, makes a pass, finds true ball very well, works hard off the ball. But in a team of winners, you need specialists.
Yeah.
And ultimately, if Arsenal become a team of winners tomorrow and they transform into specialists, they'd have to shoehorn him into a side.
No,
And
no,
for me, that's a problem.
no. I think you
Because the setting has
is
Rooney.
a real possibility because of the reality of the Arsenal team now. But you see, when the team, for example, if the team becomes a team of specialists tomorrow, like you said, that's the thing. You don't know. All you know about Saka now is the potential. You don't know what he's going to become. Like I always say, like, you don't know what a guy is until you put him. You don't know if a guy can swim until you throw him inside the ocean.
So where's his best position?
So for me,
That is a problem.
For me,
we don't know.
so the part of that is because of where Arsenal are now. Because today this guy is not performing, he needs to come and deputize for this person. This person is not dead.
If you pick the team, you watch the kid. What's the best thing he does?
For me, I think his best position is on the right wing.
Yeah,
That's what I think.
I think so too.
No, because I mean, easily cuts onto his right, his left. He can, he can cross the ball. I think he's very decent with that as well, and I think he can play passes, cut in, play through passes. He can do that comfortably well as well. He can run down the line, get something. For me, I've seen Saka at his best on the right wing, and this is me saying I don't watch a lot of Arsenal games, but I don't see him playing that well or that good in another position. For me. So Saka at 20, and I wanted to say that Arsenal, right? You talked about the what's his name, the Wolves guy. If you had the Wolves guy, Jimenez. If you had Smith, I think there's part of the problem also is you, and then you mentioned Smith Rowe, who I think is actually very talented. But there's a real risk of, you see what happened to Paul Pogba, for example, with all the potential and then nothing really happened. There's a real risk of that happening to a lot of Arsenal players because of the culture of the club now. As much as you have young, talented players, I don't see a culture of, people who can actually drag out the beast or pull out the beast in these young players. I just see young players that are talented, that are good, but I don't see people that can turn them. I don't see a culture of turning them into performance machines.
Yeah, I totally agree. I agree. And
I agree with that.
I totally
I
agree.
I have on the record that I love the kid Bukayo Saka.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I think for a kid,
fantastic.
his temperament is temperament of a 31-year-old player. There are a couple of times where Saka made a bad pass, overhit a pass yesterday, and he's not frustrated. He's disappointed that the pass didn't come, but the way he goes about the next pass, the next action, the next trigger to press is the same way when he started the game. Great kid. I'm just worried that, we might have another player where we'd have to now shoehorn. We all see what he does very well, but we can't tell exactly what he's best at. Which brought me Paul Pogba. When I watch Pogba, I'm thinking, they say he does everything well. He does everything well. No, Milner is not half as talented.
No, definitely. But like in terms of the graft and the fact that Milner, you can get Milner left back, left wing, right wing. Probably defensive midfield as well.
On the flip side, Milner had to do all of that to remain relevant in the team.
Fair enough.
Because if he's a specialist in one thing, I don't see one thing he's actually really good at, except kicking penalties. And you get that once in a while.
Come on, you big.
Hold on, I'm serious.
That's a slow. You should apologize.
Milner is a grafter.
You should apologize. I watched Milner. I watched Milner when Milner made his debut for Leeds United in 2002. I watched the game as a winger, and he tore the Chelsea fullback to shreds.
I tell you who else tore someone to shreds.
Very energetic.
He was brilliant.
I'll tell you who else tore someone to shreds. I watched Daniel James for Leeds as well.
Leave that one, no get sense. And they talk person with Sabi ball.
Daniel James
100 meters amateur boy.
So look, I like Milner. I like the mentality.
He's not even senior boy.
No. You be don't do that to Milner. Don't do that.
So don't do that. That won't make sense.
No. Don't do that to Milner. Milner went to City. Won the title.
And did what?
Come on.
Are we talking about Man United? Can I talk about Man United?
So let's move on. So let's move on from.
I see that we will not talk about Man United.
This is where I want to talk. I dream of.
Me and Man U, there's a popular purple sticker that is like this.
I don't believe I would allow you.
Me and
If Man U game start now, he's screaming at the TV.
Me and Man U were like this.
If Man U game start now, I ain't going to shout.
By the way, my neighbors were worried last night. They were really worried because there was no light, so place was a bit quiet. And then Odegaard wins the ball, and the referee gives a foul, and I lost it, completely lost it. It felt like I was Pep on the touchline.
They're going to come knock your door for that.
Bros, is everything okay? Don't worry, all nice and fine.
Oh, well and good.
All right, guys. I'm a man that needs no introduction on this show. It remains the Hindsight Podcast. When it comes to talking sport, when it comes to talking football all around the world, you get the best information from this particular podcast. You can always join us online, on YouTube, on IG, anywhere online. You can always join. Even on Clubhouse, we're there for you to dish you the best information when it comes to sport all around the world. Stay tuned always.